Hi everybody, I'm Willie from Willie's American Guitars in beautiful St. Paul. I have a catalog here from the Martin people in 1941, and in that catalog they talk about all their big orchestra models, and they talk about the famous dreadnought that came along in 1917. They invented a guitar called a dreadnought that was bigger than anything else they'd made, because a World War I battleship was also called dreadnought, and everybody was kind of amazed by how big it was. So they called this famous dreadnought bass guitar. Bass guitar they call it. Originated by Martin. The extra wide, deep body produces a ton of great power, smoothness, especially for broadcasting and recording. Rosewood body, spruce top, ivory edges, reinforced mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard and bridge, wide frets, polished lacquer finish. And in 1941, it was $150. This was an orchestra model, meaning you would use this 000 size in an orchestra. This is about as big as they got. And you guys know this, but there's single O, double O, and triple O. Today, this is considered a smaller guitar. But back then, this 00042 was top of the line and as big as anybody wanted to get. But when the dreadnoughts came out with their deeper body and their big sound chamber, this was what people needed to reach larger audiences. That's what it was all about. You're in an orchestra, but they're making this as an orchestra model. And in 1938, Martin did something. They changed the bracing pattern and they moved it away from the sound hole closer to the bridge, so this X supports the top. Now the reason they did that is because people were using 15 and 16 gauge strings, right? So when's the last time you used a 16 gauge string, right? That's what I'm saying. So with people using that, they moved the brace closer to support the bridge so the bridge didn't pop off. And then a few years after that, 1938, a few years after that, they quit doing the scallop bracing. And you can see the bracing on there. We've talked about this. And that is a standard brace. And these are scalloped braces. Along with that, shortly after that, they discontinued the herringbone, but this herringbone trim has always been synonymous with scallop bracing. And then now, since 2017, they moved the forward shifting bracing back away from the bridge. What does that do for a guy? Well, it creates an air pump. It actually creates more volume in the guitar. So these HD-28s came back again in 1980s. The herringbone scalloped guitars were not made from like 1944 until 1984, roughly. So all those years they never made herringbone scallop brace guitars. When they did decide to bring them back, it became their #1 selling guitar. And with its Indian rosewood scallop bracing, forward shifting bracing, it is really the best guitar they make. It's probably the most popular guitar they make is an HD-28. For a lot of us guys that are vintage guys, we kind of look at the older stuff with lust. And a pre-42 Martin herringbone will go for 100 G's. And I can't find any. And if you have one, I'll buy it. But they're really hard to find. If you've been out trying to find one, this is something that Martin makes. Their Authentic series, I think, is the finest guitar, bar none, tone-wise. Now, they don't have the pearl trim. What they have is bracing that is forward-shifted, scalloped, and aged. They have a top that is baked. And instead of the Brazilian rosewood that they used in the 30s and 40s, they're now using Madagascar rosewood. And here's some Indian rosewood, here's some Madagascar rosewood. You can kind of tell when you see it. And if you're looking for Brazilian, you can buy a Brazilian guitar. These are 40 grand in Brazilian, but we kind of prefer the Madagascar because it does the deep bass response. Now, they make two versions of this guitar. One is Madagascar and not aged, and this one, which is aged. Now, the big difference there is the thinner finish. This thin finish allows the top to vibrate, and it makes it a little easier for them to add some finish checking. If you've always longed after one of the most legendary acoustic guitars in the world, that would be a bone. A herringbone D-28 made before 1944 is called a bone, and they're extremely popular and high demand, and people give up some of their children to own one. It rattles, it rumbles. Real quick before the video goes out, because I only have 6 minutes and then they're going to start yelling at me on Facebook. This is a regular HD-28, and this is about a $3,100 guitar. These are great guitars and you should own one, but if you really want for about double the money, these Authentics, I'll say it again, are the finest acoustics made out there, and it's because of, whoa, the sound. You can hear every note. It's got power and projection, but it has clarity in between the notes. That's something that the regular standard things can't do. Why? Baked top, baked braces, that's exclusive to the Authentics. This new light finish and this Madagascar rosewood back and sides, also baked. And this is a guitar that you want. If you just simply want the best sounding guitar, I want to give it up. I want to trade in everything and get one badass guitar. That's this. Okay, that's all we have time for now. HD-28. HD-28 authentic aged. See you soon.